Okay, thank you. So I would like to make this presentation of this film. We will try this afternoon to make available through the USB card, which will be given to you or already been given. I don't know. Okay. So we will try to put it inside if we manage this afternoon to put it inside. Nevertheless, there will be a link through the FIA, and you could have a link also within your internal federation. Nevertheless, as I discussed at the beginning, this film is more for you as the SN to teach the marshal, the official and all the things than for the general public. It's more than an internal documentation for you. So I will show you some highlights of the film, of course not the complete one, but some highlights in order for you to understand what was the skeleton of this film. This film is based on the safety guideline, which is on the FIA website. You could have access with. Perhaps we could put the FIA guideline also inside your key. I have given to you in the big key already. So this film is based on the FIA guideline, and the target is to explain from the beginning to the end how the rally could be handled. So I show you some highlights, and if it works.
Rallying is an exciting sport, but there can be risks. This film is intended to try to help minimize those risks. Before getting down to the detail of running a rally, it's perhaps worth an organising team or club determining their objectives in running the event. And
okay, so the first part of this film is to explain to everybody how to organize the event. You will see that the sound is good, the quality of the picture are good, and it's quite a high quality film. That's why we are keen to distribute it. The first part of the first part is generated to explain how to organize the rally.
Whether before the event. The next task is to build an organising team. The FIA's Rally Safety Guidelines, which can be downloaded from FIA.com, are helpful over this. And in addition, local advice may be available from your national motorsport authority. Stewards will be needed. They act as impartial observers to see that the event is run according to the regulations. They also act as a judicial body if there's an appeal against a decision by the clerk of the course. Stewards should not have any other official job on an event. Below the stewards, there are many jobs to be done. The size of the team that does them will obviously depend on the size of the rally. This film concentrates on major stage events, but many of the points apply to smaller events too. Although on those, some of the jobs may not be necessary or may be combined. Exact job titles may vary from country to country, but broad responsibilities will be similar, and it's important that the key functions are carried out, whatever the titles.
Okay, so the first 10 minutes of this is just to describe what we as FIA, we think what is the best to organize a rally. So it describes what is the clerk of the course, what is the role of each part, and the secretary of the meeting, and blah, 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 blah. So it describes with the filming something more than the guideline. So it's the first, let's say, 10 minutes part of this film, explain point by point all the the parts. So I move now.
To have everyone in agreement on a realistic timetable, which in particular highlights issues which need to be dealt with well in advance and which could, if missed, cause cancellation. There needs to be clear understanding of job descriptions to avoid duplicated effort, or worse, things being missed. You'll also need good communications with your National Motorsport Authority, local authorities, the police, sponsors, and for some events, with local car clubs who may be able to help. Event clothing for those involved may help build a team spirit and perhaps create revenue from the sale of such material, or at least exposure for your sponsors. While during an event itself, personnel should wear identifying tabards. The colours recommended by the FIA for these are...
So we put that, just recommendation of tabard colour, you remember, it is in the guideline. And
safety marshals, orange. Safety officer, orange with white stripe and text. Post chief, blue with white stripe and text. Media, green. Stage commander, red with text. Competitor relations officer, red jacket or red tabard. Medical, white. Radio, yellow with blue mark. Scrutineer, black.
Okay, it's normal that scrutineer is black. So we put that as a guideline, but we would like one day or another within everybody to try to have the same color of tabard and same also definition of voluntary and official people who are working. So there is a commission which is called the Voluntary and Official Commission, where his duty is to try to summarize all what the ASN are doing, and then to create a guideline for everybody saying that, okay, this is a job description, this is the way to go, and blah blah, so that a new federation or federation who is not already well focused will pick up these points.
All official photographers should wear numbered tabards. Not all these will be needed on smaller events. Before the full organising team is in place, route planning will have been completed by the clerk of the course. As well as the all-important location of controls and the special stages, many other things have to be considered. For example, start and finish stands, perhaps dependent on what financial support is being offered by places. Adequate hotel accommodation in the area. HQ location with enough rooms and adequate parking. Media area. An adequate area for scrutineering. For major events, a garage lift will be needed. It will be time consuming if there's only one. Service areas. These should be arranged at mobile coverage doesn't exist if using GPRS-based tracking. There are so many systems that, as mentioned, each stage. This will involve...
So I swap a little bit. Before this point, there was an important point is emergency communication. So you will see, I think it's important during the rally to have a proper way of communication in case of emergency. Who is doing what, and so on. We had the case at the FIA where it was in Le Mans, where the people have started to discuss, and at the end it has created some confusion. So we will have internally FIA make a job description, who is doing what in case of big accident or fatal accident. For me, there should be only one people who will be allowed to speak in case of such big things, and these people should be well instructed what to say, what not to say. And you should be clear within your group to stop anybody to discuss about this accident to the journalist, to their neighbor, to their friend or whatever, because it goes straight on the tweets or on the internet or wherever, and then bad communication could appear and bad information could appear. In case of Le Mans, there was a journalist who said, "Oh, the driver went out without any injuries." The guy was in the car, unfortunately, he was dead. So all this information are not good for anybody. So in this just before, there was just explanation that it will be good for you to create a sort of emergency things. We have something at the FIA we could share with you if you need it. It's quite complex and long because the legal people went on it, but I think it's important to avoid legal
cooperation with each stage commander to prepare a plan for each stage, showing the meeting points and locations of ambulance, fire and rescue teams, radio point marshals and safety marshals.
So safety plan is one of the key goals of the safety, is to build it properly. What we would like to do for the WRC with ERSS is to have a common safety plan for all the organizers, so that everybody will have to work on the same dossier. Then it will be easier for us to look at it and easier for everybody to work. For the European Championship, I don't think we are on this stage of safety plan. For the European Rally first, we would like to have a safety plan properly made, and we would like to receive it to the FIA in order to look at that. And it will be next year, if I understand well. So 2015, it will be mandatory in the regulation that all the organizers of the European Championship will have to issue a safety plan and send the safety plan to the FIA in advance in order for the FIA to look at it and to give some opinion if it's necessary. But for us, the first stage is to create this safety plan. And the goal of the next 15 minutes of this film is to explain as much as we can how to build a safe safety plan.
The plan should also decide on no-go areas for spectators and evacuation points. WRC
So this part of the film, we took a little bit the film from ERSS, just to explain.
Regulations specify deadlines for submitting the safety plan and other documentation to the FIA. The safety plan should specifically address issues over the safety of the public, the safety of competing crews, and the safety of officials on the event. The plan should also include details of which rescue services are stationed where, not forgetting scrutineering and service areas. Instructions for the intervention in the case of an incident needing someone transferred by ambulance or helicopter. Evacuation routes, rendezvous points and so on. And hospitals which should have been contacted and which would be used in an emergency should be listed. Before the rally, the safety officer should ensure that everyone who needs it has a copy of the safety plan in time to read it and understand it, that people are properly trained, and that the responsibilities assigned to them are clear. One of the greatest challenges in rallying, and hence of vital importance in drawing up a safety plan, is to ensure the safety of spectators. At least half of special stage cancellations are due to spectator emergencies, falling over, heart attacks, etc. And these absorb rally medical services. Many of the watching public don't clearly understand the potential danger.
So this is a very important thing what he's saying, that many of the spectators does not understand that the cars are so fast and they could be placed in the...
And don't fully appreciate the speed of the cars. As a result, they may place themselves in dangerous positions simply through lack of understanding. When positioning spectators or marshalling points, organisers should remember that cars can run wide on corners, they can cut corners, throw up stones, overshoot junctions, run off the road after jumps or at an S-bend or at a medium fast bend after a very fast section.
So thank you, Jacek. You explained us 15 minutes ago all these things.
Remember too that a car that's out of control can travel a very, very long way. It's wise to assume that cars can do the unexpected, either through driver error or an unforeseen happening. When planning special stages, get an experienced driver or co-driver to go through them.
Okay, so he said that if you have a rally, put an experienced driver just to look after the rally road before.
Identify possible danger spots where runoff space is needed and so on. Let's take a look at footage from a helicopter of various safety-related scenarios.
So this is part of the video which has been given by Jacek, which has been introduced in that where you have seen it. So I pass it. We will not do it.
Editors.
So after you speak about
If a helicopter is being used, first competitor as a further check.
we speak about the zero.
Then, finally, a third road closing car, driven by an experienced crew, should run each stage between to the Chief Safety Officer at Rally HQ. If official cars are on the stage, no cars should be permitted to start the stage thereafter. This is a yellow flag situation.
Okay, so this is the first film, which is general to an organizer and so on who wants to improve.
The yellow flag can only be authorized for
I will come to the second one.
the clerk of the course and stops until safe.
So the other video is concerning the safety of the marshal. So it explains.
People marshal for a variety of reasons. To be at the heart of the sport, to learn new skills, or perhaps for the camaraderie. Many countries will have special schemes to encourage youngsters.
I think it's good also to try to encourage the young people to come. So they have, for example, in England, a special things to encourage a young marshal
to marshal. But whatever the reason, their support is vital for successful and safe rallies. There are unlikely to be fitness tests for marshals. By signing on, you're indicating that you're fit for the duties you're undertaking. Although some countries may, for instance, ask you to run so many meters in so many seconds while carrying a fire extinguisher. Whether there are checks or not, it still makes sense to be reasonably fit. Don't be put off marshalling because you've no experience. National associations, as well as many clubs, run training courses, and newcomers will usually be placed with experienced marshals. You may need to be multifunctional at times, and a sense of humour will often be important too. Learn something about first aid. If possible, and excitability may vary between countries. Alcohol consumption may also.
So this is a very important point. Is this video explain a little bit how the marshal could react when the spectators are in a wrong condition, or they are drunk, or they do not want to follow what the marshal is saying. So there is a small explanation, and there is a strong pushing from you as the SN to have a properly way to teach this sort of things, because the worst people are the people who does not want to follow the instruction, whether they are drunk, whether they are on the drug effect, or whether they are whatever. Some federation and some national federation took a big step by, it happened in Sweden, in Finland, and I know France is looking after that, is to give the police the possibility to fine with money or even with jail or something like that, people who does not want to fulfill the regulation and the people who does not want to follow the instruction of the marshal. So in some countries now the police has possibility to find somebody who is not in the right place. This is the worst case, is 5 or 6 people who does not want to follow the instruction. And two things. First, there is a police statement, and the second one is other part of the crowd. And now it happens in some of the country, is the other part of the crowd push the people who are not in the good position to come in a good position, because they are scared that the stage will be cancelled or will be on the slow motion. So two ways to try to control the people who are not in a good point is to make a good advertising to the spectators, saying that be careful, if you are not placed in the correct matter, the stage could be cancelled. And second one is, if it does not happen, to have the pressure of anybody who could have the possibility to give you a fine or to give you a big warning if you are not fulfilling the marshal instruction. And part of this film is
to cause problems. Marshals need to strike an appropriate balance. Be too diffident and you won't control spectators. Marching up to them with your arms folded, scowling, with a "what the hell are you doing" attitude, may just antagonize them. It may help to explain why something is necessary.
You see all the way through there?
If you go there, be careful because, or you may be better going this way because. And actively listening to spectators' comments may make them more cooperative too.
Okay. This sign we have seen more and more. It starts in Spain, where the Spanish Federation start to put it on it, and now more and more rally is using it. I think it's a very good system. You put this panel everywhere. Any advertising on it, do not put a rally plate on it. We started in Monte Carlo in 2010, and there was a nice Monte Carlo rally 2010 with a nice logo. After 1 hour, there was no plate. It was stolen by everybody to put in their garage. So if you do it as raw as possible, and do not put any sign which could be funny for the people to take it. I think there was 3,000 or 4,000 panel, and normally you should take it off, put it back in your car and use it for the next rally. Or share it for different national rally or European rally, where you could make it for every rally the same. And for Monte Carlo, I think there was 300 left or something like that. Then the next step will have to be a really simple panel.
But if, sadly, things do get out of control, then you may have no alternative than to call for help to prevent a stage being cancelled.
So what we said is important, and sometimes the marshal is reluctant to call the race director because something happened wrong. So you have to teach your marshal that he should not be scared to call the people at the top. Why? Because this guy is there also to look after the car. So he's scared that if he's calling the big direction say, okay, we cancel the stage. So he wants to see the car. So that there is big instruction to be done to be sure that the information is going from the bottom to the headquarters.
Marshals may have to deal with media people who should be wearing official accreditation. With or without accreditation, the media must respect prohibited area signs, and you may have to point out to them that focusing on getting a perfect picture may put them at too much risk of being struck by a car or flying stones, so they must reconsider and relocate.
Craven control.
If necessary.
Okay, so you could see that this is for Marshall. I will show you quickly the one for the this one is taken from the fire website, which is
The better prepared and fitter you are, the better and safer driver you're likely to be. So personal preparation for rallying is important. Fitness will aid stamina and concentration, while if you're trying to improve how to weight, it may be easier and cheaper to take weight off around your waist than off your car. It's compulsory to have a medical to get a competition license in many countries. An eye test and a colour blindness check can also be part of the medical. Wearing glasses, ideally with plastic lenses or contact lenses, preferably soft ones, will not be a bar to competing. A disability may not be a bar to rallying either. Your national governing body will be able to advise you. Keep in mind that motorsport can be noisy, and noise can damage your hearing permanently, so use proper ear protection. Follow your doctor's advice on medical matters. If you get ill after passing a medical, then you must declare it, otherwise you could be a danger to yourself and others. As you could if you compete when feeling seriously below par for any reason. If you take medication, including over-the-counter remedies, then be sure to declare this. No alcohol or performance-enhancing drugs should be taken while competing. Other drugs? Well, the sport follows the list used by the World Anti-Doping Agency, and the only drugs acceptable are those on that list. If in any doubt, ask rather than risk being thrown out of an event. Make sure your co-driver is aware of your medical condition and that you know theirs, and consider putting any medical details on, say, a bracelet. But note, this is the only time to wear jewellery when competing. If you're involved in an accident, anything attached to noses, ears, eyebrows or lips may be pulled off with your helmet and cause injury if it needs to be removed quickly. And incidentally, if you're an enthusiastic chewer of gum, don't do so on an event. Gum could kill you if it sticks in your windpipe following an accident. Two final points on medical matters. Keep injections up to date if you're doing events abroad, and learn something about first aid, not least because competitors may be the first on the scene of an accident.
I think this is a good point. We are trying to check if during the rally a co-driver could have an experience of first aid. So now there is a Red Cross, there are everybody who are giving a first aid, and we are looking if it's possible to link the license with half a day of first aid training, because we think that for the rally driver who are the first in the scene, it's important.
There's not much advice a film can give about your mental preparation for a rally. Obviously, try to eat and sleep well, although the latter may not be easy if you're nervous before a big event. As a general rule, Eat little and often rather than filling up on calories and liquids.
Okay, so I stop here. In the rally driver guide there is how to feel yourself, what is the component you should have, helmet, arms and all the things. It explains the competitor how to use this stuff. Okay, I think that's okay for me. Do you have any question on this film? Any question? Sorry? We will see this afternoon if we could convert it for you and put it in the card, USB card, and then you could have it. Of course, it's the first time we are doing sort of things like that. You have seen is quite professional footage. And what you could do is to try within your country to try to have the possibility to translate it into your language if it's possible. This is a version 1. We will try to make it better the next time, but at least it's the first one which is quite good. Any question?
Especially for using it in the different ERSS, different languages. For using this video in the different nations and the different ASNs with a lot of languages we have in Europe, I think if there is a script of the comments available, because very often it could happen that due to some special expressions or the terminology, maybe some details are not really understandable for the very first moment. So I suppose a script makes the translation much more easier.
Okay, so we could give you the script of this video without any problem in a Word document.
Yep.
Okay. Thank you. Any question?
Has been made quite several times with Ocak, and now that we have both of you here in the Safety Commission, I would like to know what is the condition for the zero cars. Do they have to wear helmets or not? The regulation or the safety guidelines mention that they are going at a moderate speed, but I see many zero cars driving as fast as they can, wearing helmets. I don't know if they are able to correct things seen on the special stages or whatever. So I would like to have your
Okay, we have discussed of that last year, I remember. We have modified the Appendix L on that. And for the FIA, the zero car should be treated like a rally car as far as the safety is concerned. So should have a roll cage, should have an helmet, and the driver and the co-driver should wear an ANS device for the FIA championship. I don't know for the European championship if it is the case, Arnaud. For the European championship, they have to cope with the guideline?
It's the same appendix.
Okay, so for the European championship, it is the same for the zero car. And again, the zero car should be driven by an experienced driver, but it should be such that it should not race. He should drive carefully and look after the stage. We know that we had accident with a zero car, which is not a good thing for anybody, and it's up to you as the organizer to teach correctly the crew for them not to drive like a rally car, but to drive safe on the rally. It is clear that it should be an experienced driver, but they should not. I know that some organizer has some money from some manufacturer who wants to launch a new car. For example, there was some R5 before the R5 to be homologated as an open car to some rally. and the driver was a very good driver, and he tried to make the best lap of the stage with his zero car, which is not the target.
Jacques, I think we agree with the zero car, but we have more than one. We have 00, 000, and I assume that it's not for them. They are these safety cars. They don't have helmets. They should not have. They should be normal cars, because the problem is whenever you have a driver with all the equipment, with the helmets on, he don't think about his duties anymore. He just goes.
But we speak about the zero car.
That's what I want to make clear. It's just only the zero. That's the last one. But the zeros before, they are normal cars. Maybe they have a protection. Maybe they have a roll cage. But the drivers should not wear a helmet. They have a checklist which they have to follow. They have to check all the marshals, check time controls and so on. And they are not rally drivers. They are not driving. And there could be good drivers.
As you could see on the video, the 000 and 00 are normal 4x4 car with a proper system. And this is right. 000 and 00 are really a safety car. They should have a proper listing of the duty they have to do, and they should check all the things, and should have a clear paperwork to follow and to say, okay, I've done that, I've done that, I've done that. And in zero car should be the same. They should be teach to check whatever they have to check. For the zero car, yes, it has been done last year, following different discussion we had for the protection of the zero car driver. And it has been asked by the doctor also.
My advice is the 00, maybe spare one, because if some problem, if a problem for the zero car, maybe you can replace the 00 for the car. For organizer, this is the advice.
Yeah, there is a minimum, there is no maximum. If you put a 00 with a safety cage and all the things, it's up to you. But the duty of the 00 car is not the same as the duty of the zero car. The crew should know exactly what they have to do, and it is not to go in the rally at the speed of the other, or to try to beat the guy in front of them. And we have seen some rally, you're right, Anita, that we have seen some rally where the zero car tried to be quicker than the normal competitor, which is not a good thing. Any question, Jacek?
No question, but
You should remember also that if the stage is very long, more like 35 kilometers, you need two cars for zero. Very often, if you want to keep the really good distance in the front of the first rally car, there should be one car in the start and second car in the middle of the stage, and this first car is going out and the second can run. That's very often we will organize in WRC, and European Championship is coming with the very long stages. The same procedure should be done. Thank you.
Some other question?
Hi. We are talking about the preparation of the accident conditions, but we are not talking when the accident actually happened. And another question, does the FAA has any plan to accident insurance for the marshals, officials, etc.?
Two things. When an accident happens during the rally, in this film, there is a coverage of that. There is not a full coverage, because then it goes to the medical part. It said that the ambulance should be that, and that. But the medical part is not covered by this film. As far as the insurance is, it's up to the organizer to have their people on the track properly insured. It's the organizer / the ISN to have it organized. So we, as the FIA, would like to have all the people on the rally to have a license, an official national license. I know in some country it is a case, some other country it is not the case. But they have from the organizer a paper saying that during the time of the meeting they are properly insured, they are properly things. The other solution is to have an official license where in the license you have the insurance coverage. A lot of people are using these things to cover their part. Some other prefer to give the paperwork during the weekend where they ask the people to do a duty like that. But it's not FIA who will insure the people. It's the organizer. Okay? So just to finish, I would like to speak to you about the special case, which is a French case, where you know that there was a big accident in 2012. And just to show you what the French Federation did, and could you make a little word on that? And just introduce. In the meantime, I will go to the French Federation website and I will show you all the things they have made available for their team.
So, after the different accidents in the past, and at the request of the French government authority, in France we have established a specific safety regulation about the implementation of the stage. In each local delegation, a safety manager was elected to enforce the different rules. And the particularity is these standard rules must be applied for all categories of rally, as WRC, local, regional, national in France. So in case the consequences of the obligation is a cancellation for rally, we can apply on time these new rules, and if the organization have not enough money, because it's very expensive and a lot of time to establish this new regulation. Okay.
So if I understand well, within the federation, and you have created some regional group. In each region of France, you have nominated a safety delegate, safety person, who is responsible for his region of the safety of the different rally all over their region. And this safety person will report to the federation. You have implemented the FIA guideline, or the sort of FIA guideline, and they have made it, I will say, if you see in the FIA website, they took all the things, they put it in French, and it's available in the French website. And then all the rally has to fulfill this safety document. They will have to have a safety plan. They will have to put marshal everywhere, and they will have to follow the regulation. And it's not only the French championship rally, but it goes to the normal small regional rally, which is only on Sunday and only 50 kilometers. As you say, a lot of the rally said, I cannot spend this money because of the number of marshals, because of the sign, because of all those things, and they were too small in order to do that. How many rally you have lost? Something?
40.
In percentage is 20%?
5%.
So 5% of the rally collapse because of this new rule, which is not a lot of the rally finally. So I think it means that do not come to us and say, no, it's not possible. The French Federation did not do it because FIA has pushed to do it. They did it because the government went to them in 2012 and say, sorry, we cancel all the rally on your championship. No more rally. So they went back with a proposal and say, if we follow this, this, and this, will be possible to review the decision? The French government say, yes, we could review the decision as long as you fulfill what you are saying. There will be a policeman, a gendarmerie, in front of every rally who will check that all this directive has been followed properly. It was a big staff. They have to employ a full guy on that. So we of course, they were in front of the wall and there was no other possibility to do. But by doing that, they have lost only 5% of their rally. So it means if you, within your country, manage to push everybody to go in this direction, you will have in front of your legal authority all the documentation to say, okay, we follow that, we follow that, we follow that. Of course, we know that the rally is dangerous. Of course, we know that something could happen. But it's our duty to do all our efforts to be sure that we have put everything in the safe side. If you are making a proper safety plan, if you are making a proper go and non-go, and if one guy does not want to fulfill because he's drunk or whatever, or he's a media and so on, then you could say, okay, sorry, but this guy was a non-control guy and it's not possible to control everybody. And I think all the work which has been done by the French Federation could be used for you. They also issue a video where I could show you quickly if you want. They issue a small video. It's a work for Jacek here. So this film has been put to show what was before and what has been done. And I don't know if people could have access. It's a question. You don't know. If it's not on the website, so you cannot download it from the website, could you check with your federation if you could distribute this film for the people who would like to have it? Because I think it's good to have all the model. Of course, it's in French, but it will not be complicated to translate it or to show it to anybody who wish to use it. And all the documentation which are on the website are also in French, but they are also good to see. There are some movies, some photos, some videos, some cartoons in order to explain what to do. Okay. You have a question?
In the case of there is no ERSS, like the same picture which you show us, what can we do as an observer if we go through the stage? I asked the same question last year, and I will ask again, because I'm trying to give one opinion. If there is no safety delegate coming from FIA to the rallies, and you are the one to check and to give points and to understand the criteria is fulfilled or not on the paper only, but you are going one stage, and like that it is impossible to say this stage will, safe.
Okay. So
what can you do in that case?
We should not mix the role. The role of the observer is to observe and, of course, sometimes to help the organizer to grow up. The role of the observer is not to do the same as ERSS and say, okay, this corner is not safe, blah, blah, and so on. But really, his role is to look after the rally and also to help in the real life the organizer to grow up for the next future, okay? And sometimes, unfortunately, to give a bad notice when really all the things are not going in the right direction. For me, at the European Championship level, there should be either from your country or from another SN, somebody to do the same job as ERSS. It could be an old co-driver, it could be somebody who is going for you as the organizer or for you as a competitor in front of the rally and check if the safety book is done properly. It should not be the same people who did the safety book and the people who check, because then it's always a problem of say, oh no, here there's no problem and so on. In the future, what we would like, ERSS is doing a really good job. We would like not to have ERSS in all the WRC rally, because it's not, I think, the goal of the FIA to go and to look after all the safety. It's really the goal of the organizer to make his rally as safe as possible. And he should not wait for FIA to do the job for him. Before, ERSS was with the helicopter, and he was pushing the people with the helicopter and so on. And discussing together, it was good, but not good, because then the organizer said, oh, there is ERSS with his helicopter, he will push everybody, he will make the job for us. The target is really for the organizer to do the job. Okay? And for me, they should appoint somebody to check the stage before it happened. Uwe?
Just for the information, if Rally Commission, if FIA gets a report from the observer stating that the safety is not good, especially when it comes to spectator safety, then the Rally Commission will send to the next rally a safety delegate.
At the cost of the organizer?
At the cost of the organizer.
Actually, I know the answer. I asked the question especially, but this is the thing, it's a little bit strange when you go to the stage after the zero cars or in between the zero cars. When you see the stage in such a way that you say that something happened. You can feel that, and at the end of the stage, maybe you can say only 2 words. The stage is okay for you or not. They say yes, okay, then it's okay, and you allow them to take this risk. Yeah, so it's a little bit, I know that it is over the responsibilities, but you didn't feel yourself very happy.
I understand that, but I think we should not mix all the role, because the role of the observer is to observe and to look after the things. And again, you could not stop. It does not stop you to discuss with the organizer and say, look, I have seen that and so on. It's not really good and everything. But I don't think it's a role of the observer to say, oh, in the corner 5 it's not correct, in the corner 6 it's not correct, blah blah and so on. It should be really done by the organizers themselves, because if you do the job for them, they will not do the job after. And as Uwe is saying, the next step will be, next rally, there will be somebody from the FIA to control, and it will be on the cost of the...
Year after, you know, or
I know.
after the things happen. So this is the thing.
Ah ben c'est normal, c'est un micro, c'est pas un micro suisse.
C'est bon, voilà. Now, I would like to help to support also Banu, because we have the same function in the rally. My impression is I have, especially in 2012, I had some very, very bad experiences with several fatal accidents in the rally that I have observed. I have seen some circumstances where really the safety for spectators was very questionable, and I've never seen anything done by the FIA with this organizer to improve the safety. The situation was exactly the same when I read the report of my colleagues the year after. They have seen exactly what I have seen the year before. That is probably my request to the FIA. And in the sense that Uwe is saying, that means something should occur when the observer in his report or her report writes, that was a nightmare, that was a disaster. Something must be done. Otherwise, the role of the observer or the job of the observer doesn't bring anything to the safety, to the improvement of our rallies.
Both rallies you were talking about, there will be a safety delegate this year. But one thing is, if you see this situation as an observer, you can feel free to call the clerk of the course and tell him, listen, at this point and that point, the safety is no good, please change something. You can call him every hour if you want. But the point is that the safety delegate is allowed to go later than you. He can, and he has the possibility to delay a stage. He can say, okay, this stage will not start, and advise the the clerk of the course to change something. This is you can't do because you are ahead of this. So most problems with the spectators you don't see, because in many rallies the spectator follow always the first 10 cars, so they are coming very close. Now in the rally you are talking about, they are there one day before already, the spectators.
But I understand that it's quite tricky to make a bad report or something like that, and to see the year after nothing to be done. So that there could be a discussion we could do in conjunction with the new closed car commission, closed road commission, sorry, and the rally commission, whether we could join our effort to push at least the organizer of the European Championship to improve themselves year after year. Okay, we cannot ask revolution, but at least evolution should be good for the observer to see from one year to another. Thank you. Some other question? Mr. Backlin.
I agree with the proposal you did, but don't forget that you give a responsibility.
Ça marche pas ton micro là. Voilà.
Don't forget that you give a responsibility, civil and penal responsibility, to the observer and to somebody representative of the FIA, so it is very dangerous to do that, but I agree on the principle, of course. But
no,
I
no,
think...
Hold on. It's exactly what we did not say. The observer will observe and will not have the responsibility for the safety of the spectator. The observer, the FIA observer.
Yes, I understand, but when you say the observer can tell to the clerk of the course to delay the stage because there is a problem of security, you...
No, we do not. We do not say that, Yves. We say the observer is in front of the rally, and behind him there are the safety people.
Yeah.
And it's not up to the observer to tell the clerk of the course to do anything on the stage. The only things he could do is give a phone call to the clerk of the course and saying that for me on these things that is, but he has not the power to stop or to do anything on the.
But I think we did already this, because I already did it with the clerk of the court to phone him to say that there is a big problem here. If I was you, I take the decision to stop here.
You could send an advice, but you have no legal issue on that. The legal issue is to the safety delegate for the rally and not to the observer.
Okay, what I want to add also is to say that FIA has to take more consideration, to give more consideration to the report of the observer about this problem especially. And if something is so bad and written in the observer's report, FIA has a choice to propose to the organizer, or he accept and he pay, of course, somebody from the FIA to help him to learn security and make it during the next event, or to take off this event from the championship. That's it. We have to take a decision.
I am fully agree with you, Yves. Mr. Yanakev?
Hello, thank you. One question. Till now we have this situation. The safety delegate, it doesn't matter if it's ASN or it's FIA guy, he can propose to the clerk of the course that, let's say, a stage is dangerous, etc. That he can delay it, but he can't stop it. The only person who can stop a stage is the clerk of the course. So, what about this to think about? When FIA sends a safety delegate, it doesn't matter in which country it is, the safety delegate can say stop of the stage, not the clerk of the course. Why don't you think about this to change it?
Well, we discussed that, but for the legal case, it's always the clerk of the course who is at the end responsible for his meeting. We discussed about that, and Jacek in the WRC has not the power to stop the stage. He has the power to say, for me, the corner number 10 or whatever here is dangerous, you should do something. It's up to the clerk of the course to take it as we postpone the stage, we check everything, but it's not to anybody except the clerk of the course to take any decision. And at the end, if something happens, unfortunately or fortunately, it is the clerk of the course who will go in front of the court or in front of any legal people in order to explain why something happened in his rally. So the problem is, as it is the only one who is responsible at the end, it is up to him to take or not to take the decision.
Because last year we had some issues in some rallies in Bulgaria, and there was this rally, we had the decision, I mean, we gave the decision to the clerk of the course, you need to cancel this stage, because we had all also on camera, and he said, no, we won't cancel it. Of course, it was very good that nothing happened. It was okay, but actually, we should do something more about the safety with the person who is going there to check the safety. He needs to have more power over the clerk of the course. He is on the stage and he sees everything. And he is the person who can prevent something to be not happening. But when, of course, each clerk of the course is in his HQ. He is not inside in the car.
Okay, so what we could make perhaps is a combined discussion between the Rally Commission and this new closed car commission to check what could be done after a report like that. We could not give the power to the guy on the field to stop the stage. It's always been the clerk of the course, but we should see what could happen if the clerk of the course decide, for whatever reason, to say, no, I don't want to cancel the stage. I think we should go a little bit further. If it happens, it will be up to the clerk of the course to explain by small written things to say why he took the decision not to cancel the stage. And perhaps there are some obvious reasons where we have not been decided. If the reason is because there was some TV, then it was not an obvious reason. But if there are other reasons, we could listen to him. So perhaps we could create something like that, which asks the clerk of the course to put in writing why he took such a decision, not to cancel the stage.
Maybe it will be helpful for this work, for the safety plan and preparation of the safety plan. Clerk of course and the team is working very theoretically very well. And during the rally, the clerk of course in the rally control assumes that his team, zero cars, stage commanders, implement this safety plan properly. I believe in all organizations I see that it must be very well, but it is not, and the guys on the team, on the stages, didn't give these missing points to the clerk of course. And he's a blind in that case, and he assumed that everything proper. When we say that there were no marshal in that region and some go areas with the spectators, he didn't believe in that. But because of the safety plan preparation, theoretical one, and the implementation, I think the problem is coming from there.
Yeah, the problem comes from the communication. Okay, you could have a good safety plan, but people who are badly placed. And this is really a problem. In the WRC, with the very rich people, there is eyes in the sky, a chopper, helicopter, everything. In the French rally, we had the helicopter, and also we use horse riding police. So the police with horse, then we go in the vineyard with the helicopter and say, there are some people hidden in the vineyard, so we send the police with horses and dogs, okay, to put the people in the right direction. Okay, I know that nobody could afford these sort of things, but I think the communication, as it has been shown, that from the smallest marshal, the chief post marshal, from the stage commander on the stage, and the safety delegate in the race direction, and the clerk of the course, there should be a good communication. And the stage marshal in his post should say, okay, I have a problem with some people who are not in a good position. Then he sends this message to the chief stage marshal, who are linked together, and the chief stage marshal send an email or message to the race direction and say, we have a problem on the stage 4, blah, blah, in this point, in this point, in this point. And then the clerk of the course will take his decision. If the clerk of the course does not trust his team, it's worse not to make any rally. It's better to go to the supermarket. Anything to add? We could have a lunch now?
Yes, it is ready.
Thank you very much, and we will try to... sorry.
Maybe a final comment on this process. Somehow there is a need that we have a very consequent education of the spectators. That means wherever the spectators go to, whether there is different events, international events, the handing and the way to do should be the same everywhere. That means maybe it will start from the very beginning using similar signs, non-verbal signs that is understandable also in other countries. And also, first of all, like in every education process, whenever you grow up your kids, you have to be consequent. And that consequence we have to be also in our event. Otherwise, the spectators will do what they want.
That's why we have created this safety guideline you could download in the FIA website, where we explain what, for our sense, is the common sense to do. And if you use this safety guideline, everybody will have the same sort. But we understand that it will take time for everybody to learn and so on and so on, and we should do it step by step. ERSS, European Championship, and then National Championship. The French Federation did everything in 1 year, and I tell you, it was really, really, really difficult. Thank you very much. Thank you for your attention.